Hello, my name is Cameron Ledford. I am in Professor Trailer's Intro to Business class, and this is my pretend business, the Bookmark Bakery. You might be asking, why a bookstore bakery? And my question to you is, why not? Bookstores and bakeries are both extremely calming places, so why wouldn't you put them together? Both bring people together and bring a calm demeanor that helps people grow as a community. There's the other reason that I wanted to make this business is that there is an extreme need for it in my town of Jackson, Georgia. The closest bookstore is over 30 minutes away, and there are very few bakeries in the town that offer good food. Yes, I know books are not as popular as they once were, and there's less of a need for them due to technology. And so technically it's a dying market. But I would like for you to think of all the things that were seen as dying that have slowly come back, such as Polaroids and record players. Both of these things have come back after most stores have already been out of them. Why not start the trend back up with books? And anyways, people would come in for the bakeries and stay for the knowledge. Since there's a need for it in Jackson, Georgia, why not make it into a small location where people could come in as a community and read and grow? Okay, and you can't have a business without having a vision statement. My vision statement for this specific business would be to provide a loving and safe space for people to come together as a community where they can share their love of books and food. Because who doesn't love food? And I could create a love for books. Okay, now some people might have the money to start up their own small business without any help, but that's not me. I would need some help. So in order to start this business, I would need a 7A loan from the U.S. Small Department Administration. With this loan, I'd be able to buy the building along with supplies in order to keep the business running. This would include supplies such as register, ovens, books, and bookshelves. Alright, so this business has already been in the talk between me and my friends. So in order to operate this business, I'm going to have a general partnership with me and two other people. The two partners would work on different aspects of the business, such as the bakery portions and the bookstore portions. I, of course, would be working on the bookstore portions, as I'm more interested in books, and my friends who are excellent bakers and chefs will work on the bakery portion. Okay, so sadly you can't just start a business without having license and permits. So here are a few of the most basic licenses and permits in order to run this sort of business. First, we would need a business license. This is just a general license to operate the business, a food service license, which so you can sell food, a health department license for the kitchen and food safety. Don't want to be getting sued. Zoning permits, so that way you can operate the business, and a seller's permit, so we could be allowed to sell books and have taxes on those books. Okay, so here's everybody's favorite topic, taxes. So, as you would normally, you would have to pay your own taxes. But when you own a business, you have to add a little bit more spice to that. You would have the sales and use tax, the employment tax, income tax, and self-employment tax. Alright, so this is another very important thing about owning a business. You got to get insurance. You got to be able to protect yourself and others. This would include the general liability insurance, the commercial property insurance, and the product liability insurance. Alright, so how are we going to get the word out there that we are the Bookmark Bakery, the bookstore bakery in town? First off, we're going to be hosting events such as Books of the Week, kids events where you get to have readers, you can have little luncheons, and then we got to create the social media presence. TikTok's big right now about creating this presence, and I've seen it work for many small businesses in the area. Next, we're going to put up flyers and posters. Yes, I know it's old school, but I'm selling books. I got to go a little old school to get in there. Alright, then we're going to sell food at some local farmer markets to advertise the grown business. Look, my friends are good cooks. There's a reason I picked them for partners in this business. Trust me, they'll bring people. All right, so in conclusion, this will be tough. With my determination and the help from my partners, this business could soar to great heights. I mean, who doesn't love food and books? We could become the main meetup spot for young adults and teens to meet for school, and be a place for children to learn to lead, and provide a community for those who enter the new town. All right, thank you for listening to my slide, and hopefully you'd be interested in coming to my bookmark bakery. If you're interested in checking out any of my references, please click on any of these links. Have a wonderful day.